We're back for my second portion of my presentation. This one is going to be going over my thought experiment. Um, what major concepts that I gather from the different documents and videos that you sent us? The first one is the three E's. My second point was level of wealth, the different levels of wealth. And my third one was Friedman's The World is Flat. So going and diving into my first one, the three E's. And three E's are comprised of the economy, energy, and environment. So economy, I think of the hockey stick chart. So the hockey stick chart can be explained with exponential growth and compounding concepts. So exponential growth, it was explained in the video where how long would it take for Yankee Stadium to be filled up with just drops of water. But the deal is, one drop will turn into two drops will turn into four, and four drops will turn into eight, so on and so forth. So in the video, it tells you how long it would take to in fact fill up Yankee Stadium. But the point in that is showing how exponential growth works. So if you bring that concept to our economy, we've had a steady flow of money being in circulation. But when you increase that flow for no apparent reason, or maybe there's a reason you want the economy's low, but you want to increase the money circulation, you create that spike. And what that spike does, it limits the time that you have, and so that's damaging the economy in the future. The second portion is the creation of money. The creation of money is it's really cool. I've always understood this. So you go from you have a need for money. That request goes to the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department then sells bonds, government bonds, to different banks and even countries. With that revenue from those bonds, it's funneled backwards back to the Treasury Department and then back to the source of the need of money. The thing is, though, money doesn't really have a true value, and so the value from this particular dollar isn't what it has or backed by anything. It's simply from me giving it to somebody for something. So this really has no value at all. The second portion is energy. Energy, I thought of, it was really brought to my attention that oil is one of the more primary sources of energy that we have. Everything that we have, from the suit that I'm wearing today, from my computer, was brought to me by oil. So oil is very important to have. The third part is the environment, so pollution. There is a copper field in Utah, I believe, but the thing is, we've used all of the easy stuff. So it's really to get such a minute amount of copper, we have to, let's just say this, it's 90% of anything and 10% copper. So 90% things that we can throw away or need to throw away, but 10% of what we need. And so that 10% of what we need is really damaging the environment, and also the type of equipment that we have to use for the excavation of those materials. And also we're damaging our natural resources that we already have. Natural resources won't ever come back. Those are just things that naturally occur. We can't just reproduce those things. My second concept was level of wealth. You have primary, secondary, and I'm gonna screw this word up, tertiary. So primary is like your natural resources, land, lumber, oil. Secondary is the acquisition of those natural resources and making those into products that we can actually use. So taking oil from the ground and actually using it for diesel or anything like that, or taking trees and making it into like this desk that I'm standing at, stuff like that. That's when you acquire those particular things, that's your secondary wealth. Your tertiary wealth is actually a combination of both, but also it's just the ownership of it. It really has no value to it. It's just like stocks and bonds and things of that nature. And then the third one is Friedman's The World is Flat. What I got from this is it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just the world over time has become more wide open. So it really started with the fall of the Berlin Wall because now the Western world can see what they can do, and so now it's super easy to for me in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, to communicate with somebody in Japan, and we work simultaneously on a project. How these things can impact firms in the future, I believe that just understanding our stance and understanding the importance of being responsible with economics, finding other ways to produce energy other than oil, because it's becoming harder to get. Oil is at a record high by the barrel, and being environmentally conscious of what we're doing, understanding the levels of wealth, buying land and using those in the right manners, and then maybe I believe that the world is flat was perceived as a negative thing, possibly. I personally think that becoming open and able to work with other people is actually a good thing. So that in itself is actually working in our favors for future firms. So that's my presentation on my thought experiment.